love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the light.
Hello. Oh, no more music. Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Will It Land? Joking. Welcome to the Glide Slope channel. Today we got a very special flight, yet another new airplane in the FS 2024 scene. This is an Airbus A340 built by Inibuilds. You all know Inibuilds. But this one is very special because this is a VIP A340, and I'll show you, going inside, why President Trump himself wouldn't mind flying in this, and we all know he likes to fly fancy, well, with all the Air Force One stuff and all that. So, as usual, let's begin our external inspection, looking into the wheels, looking into the engines as well. We'll go there in a moment. Let's check the left main landing gear. Looks good. Also good. We're looking for basically leaks of any kind. This is the world famous CFM 56 engines that make this airplane exclusively slow. Yeah. Very slow plane. We talked about that in the past. But this one, this is a very special plane. This is yeah. Well, everything okay, Bob? Can I go? Can I take this flight or what? Huh, Bob? How do I close this? Yeah, okay. Bye, Bob. Oh, Bob was just inspecting the plane. And yeah, this is a very special plane. As you will see, this flight will be mostly routine, but we are inspecting it. We are expecting some rough weather coming out of Porto to Warsaw, but mainly in flight. So I think Warsaw is under a blizzard right now, but nothing too special, nothing too serious. Can see the APU cowling, can open it, and now it's a matter of finding the correct spot class. There it is. All right. So no airline, This is actually a charter company. I don't. It's it's Sky something. I'm sorry. I looked into it, but I completely forgot what charter company this is. But it is a charter company and mostly does VIP flights. And you will see why some presidents would choose to fly this instead of their local official airplanes. For example, in Portugal, we don't have an official presidential plane, which is what happens with most countries in Europe, small countries, I mean. But the president usually flies on the Falcon 50 or Falcon 900 aircraft, which is a small business jet. Now, I know it's pretty comfortable because I've been inside one of those and they are comfortable. You can actually walk um, standing inside of the Falcons, but it's still a small plane. Now imagine I'm a president and I want to flex to the world, right? So that's why President Trump wants a new Air Force One because the VC-25, the Boeing 747-300 or 200, what it's based on, oh, we cannot climb these stairs. Apparently not. Oh, yes, we can. So as you approach the plane, you can already see that this is a whole different ballpark. And I'll show you in a moment how different this is from a regular A340. So we are back in the cockpit with Betsy, and we're going to energize the aircraft. Here we go. All right, let's bring up our checklist so we can perform the normal procedures on this aircraft as usual. I chosen to fly with EIS-1, so this is the most modern variant of the two available modes for this aircraft. And right off the bat, we don't see many differences, if any, on this type of cockpit because it's really the same as pretty much all the other A340s. There's nothing really different about this cockpit other than the fact that we know we're flying a VIP aircraft. So first of all, let's import our flight plan from Simbrief. So today we're going from Porto to Warsaw, so Francisco Sá Carneiro to Chopin, and we're expecting a very mild weather in Porto at least, and in Chopin we are expecting some really low temperatures, so that's minus 0.7 degrees, so that's really low. So we'll see if we will actually get some rough weather as we get there. Now let's see if I can make this GSX integration work once and for all, because last few flights in the 340 it's quite a mess. So I'm gonna do it right here. So actually no, let me go to the OFP first, confirm everything. So we're expecting a flight level 400. And now check the maintenance, see if the hydraulics are okay, wheels are okay, everything looks okay. And now, where is the ground equipment? There it is. So now we should see, or am I mixing up with the 350? Probably am. So I think there's no direct integration. Oh, there it is. Load with GSX. Let's see what happens. So as you, all right. So as you can see here, you already see that the layout of the cabin is quite different from a regular A340. We'll take a stroll in the back in a moment, but you can clearly see it's not your regular 340.
Passengers bus is coming.
Alright, so it seems to be working, and it's not very VIP to be transported on a bus to this plane. PMDG actually has a nice feature on their aircraft when it comes to VIP aircraft like PBJs. They add these SUVs, kind of like, you know, gives you the idea that it's some sort of VIP guy. All right, so parking brake is set. We got our flaps. Our little flaps are up, as well as our spoilers are up and disarmed. Weather radar is off. It's right here, middle switch, and the predictive wind shear is also on the off position as it should. Engine master switches are all on off. Weather, engine mode selector set to norm, and thrust levers are set to idle, as well as the wipers are off and off. All right. Our passengers coming in. So here they are. Not really classy to go on a bus like this, but as you can see, it's a small bus because this airplane doesn't have the same capability as the regular 340 in terms of passenger capacity. But as you'll see in a moment, you don't really need that because this isn't a plane for, this isn't a plane for regular flights. This is a plane for really special chartered. Actually, this company, it's not the only company in the world that has this VIP A340. There's also other companies that have it, and you can actually rent this plane. I don't know how much that would be. I browsed their website. I couldn't find any prices. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pricey. Other than that, there's also a Russian oligarch that has one of these as a private plane. Yeah, for himself, for real. And I believe there's yet another VIP also owned by a private, but I think it's not just one guy, it's a company. But I may be wrong. If you guys know anything about it, feel free to comment, because that's what I found. And I've picked this parking spot because it says it was a heavy parking spot, but as you can see, the 340 barely fits here. So not sure about this being a heavy parking space, but it is what designation? It's called GA heavy, GA large. So general aviation a large, but still, their Porto Airport doesn't have any heavy gate. We did park our MD-11, the last flight, in this spot here, but I found, well, no, actually it was this one, but I find it very tight for such heavy aircraft. So I considered putting it here because it would be much more VIP to go in through the jetway, but I don't know. So let's go inside again, and don't worry, I'll go back to the cabin and let's start prepping the flight. So battery 1 and 2 are on, external power is on, accumulator braking pressure, we got pressure on the accumulator, not much, enough to activate the parking brake, and both pedals have pressure. Cockpit lights as required, instrument display lights as display brightness as required. APU far tests. Let's do that. So let's turn on track IR and let's test. Actually, let me look forward first and I'll look up. Right, so let's test it. Handle and butt is lit. Squib discharge agent is lit. Master warning, and we got APU fire on the ECAM. Good. So we got cruise supply to on. Cockpit voice recorded to test. Oh my god, I always miss the CVR. Where the heck is it? Right there. Oh, test. We should hear a tone, but nothing happens. Old school, I suppose. ADIRs set to nav. Here we go. So AD1, IR1, IR2, and IR3. And no, I did not do that in the wrong order. If you read the labels, it's 1, 2, and 3. It's right there. 1, 2, and 3. Exterior lights set to wing. Wing on. Nav is set to 1 as it should. No smoking portable devices. Let's set this to auto as our passengers are setting themselves in. We probably won't have any passengers in the back because, again, GSX didn't update. Emergency lights are set to arm. Annunciator lights. Let's turn it on. Let's watch the... Oh, wrong switch. This one is it. Let's watch all the lights lit up. Even the What is this? Cockpit door CONT. It's probably door open door in a test or something. ELT, old school ELT. It's now integrated in most airplanes. We don't have an actual indicator, but still good. And it's mandatory for airplanes flying over the ocean. Toilet occupied, it's cool. So cockpit doors, everything all the way down. So the cockpit flow on the Airbus is set like this. So all the way down, then the middle, all the way down, then the right, all the way down. The same thing with the cockpit flow here on the captain side. So everything looks fine and dandy as it usually does. This is a simulator, guys. Don't need to be picky about any light bulb that's been busted or something. All right, so Pro window heat set to auto. Auto mode is off. So if you want to force it on, you can turn on. If you turn it off on both on the window probe heat or on the wings, it's all auto as it is right now. Aircraft temperatures check. ECAM page set to ELAC. So our cargo has been loaded in, and let's test the battery. So battery 1 off. We got off indication off on the ECAM. Turn it back on. Now battery 2 off on the overhead and off on the ECAM. And APU battery off on the overhead and off on the ECAM. Let's turn it back on. Alright. So battery 1 and 2. Oh, we already done. Fuel pumps are off, and let's perform the fire extinguisher test. So this is one for all. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all on. All squibs. There are 2 squibs per engine are on. We got fire indicators and the ECAM status, as well as master warning tested. Of course, we always account for the oral warning as well. All right. So now let's prep the rest. So let's listen to our 80s to prep our performance. So let's tune in for 80s in Porto.
Initial contact, you have information, Oscar. Francisco Sacanero Airport information, Oscar. 190-120, wind 3305. Visibility 10 miles or more. Few clouds at 2,400. Temperature 09er. Dew point 08. QNH 1021. Landing and departing runway 35. Transition level 040. Bird activity in vicinity of airport. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Oscar.
We got Oscar. Right, all right. So we're going to tune in the ground because we're going to request CPDLC clearance. So first of all, we got a company message. And we'll get into that in a moment. Let me zoom in for your viewing pleasure. So let's go to initiation. So this is the secondary initiation. This is the one we want, initiation request. Here we go, and we got our flight plan printed in. For the departure, we're expecting runway. Oh, where did they put it? Where did it put? Oh, right there. Well, it's not the best place to place it. So runway 35 via 209 Echo, and we need the clearance for that, of course. But we'll get that clearance in a moment. So we got a company message received. So here we go. 82 AOC received messages. This is our preliminary load sheet, and which we'll accept, and now the final load sheet, which we'll also accept. We'll look in a moment. All right. So now let's go for flight initiation. It's already loaded. Okay. Doesn't it have a CPDLC? I keep mixing the planes here. Maybe it doesn't have CPDLC. I think it does have. Yep, departure. There we go. So we're going from, whoops, LPPR to, I never know the decal codes, I'm sorry guys. EPWA. EPWA. We got A34. Oh, we need to insert that. And now we got A343. It's pretty much the same plane. And we are on gate. What's the gate number? Sorry about that. S20. Gate S20. In the future, I won't have to go outside because in the future Simbrief is preparing an update to include, we got information, Oscar, to include the gates that we where we are parked. So this is something I need to do. All right, let's see. Will it work? And send. Now we just need to wait for the correct clearance. We'll see. We're going to set the FCU speeds as we prepare our performance. So runway 35. And let's sync with FMGS and calculate. Oh, there was an error up there. Alright, so we got flags 53, 135, 138, 145, flaps 1, 6.1 up. Nice. So let's go to performance page. Let's, oh, nav data upgraded, thank you. Let's uplink. Supposedly. There's probably something missing here. Request wind data. It's already some wind data here. What am I missing? We're missing the clearance. So we did send the request. Let me check on the Beyond ATC window. Nope. Actually, no. Didn't send anything. Let's call it in. Let's not waste time with this.
Sawtooth 1 Heavy, ready for Airways to exit airport.
Sawtooth 1 Heavy, port of delivery. Expect runway 35 to round 9 Echo departure. Squawk 2131.
Sure, Nana Echo departure. Squawk 2131. Sawtooth 1 Heavy.
Sawtooth 1 Heavy, read back correct. Contact ground 118.855 when ready for push for start.
We'll contact ground 118.855 when ready for pushback or engine start. Sawtooth 1 Heavy, thanks.
Alright. So, we got everything in. We should now be able to get our performance. Oh, there's a send to FMGS right here. Sorry about that. There we go. So 135, 138, 145, flex 53, up 61. 135, 138, 145, flex 53, 61, up. All right. And now let's go to the performance page, sorry, initiation page, and let's insert the weights and balance to this aircraft, not this page, this one. All right, so we got 0 fuel weight 123.0.
Portugal 454, gate 31 taxi by Foxtrot 1 Echo 3 Echo, Echo 2 Echo 1 Sierra 6 Bravo, Sierra 3. Gate 315 Foxtrot 1 Echo 3 Echo, Echo 2 Echo 1 Sierra 6 Bravo, Sierra 3 Air Portugal 454.
CG. It's 24.5. Bingo. And now for the fuel. What's our fueling? 8,000. That's not correct. It's not the correct fuel. Oh my god, that's always something. What's our fuel? So our block fuel is 25.5. So let's load instant load fuel, see if it does apply. Still no fuel on board. Let's go 25.5. 26.5. 27. Come on, can I just write this? 25,500. All right. Instant load. There you go. Now we got the necessary fuel. 25.5. Done. Let's wait for the calculations. Looks good. We got some extra time, 48 minutes, according to the flight planning. All right. I think we're good to go.
Rhino 10 Romeo Romeo, round 36 taxi via Foxtrot 1 Echo 3 Echo, Echo 2 Echo 1 Sierra 6 Bravo, Sierra 3. Round 36 via Foxtrot 1 Echo 3 Echo,
Well,
Echo 2 Echo 1 Sierra
good
6
afternoon.
Bravo, Sierra 3 Rhino
Welcome
10
to the
Romeo
VIP
Romeo.
flight from the Airbus A340. I hope you enjoy it. All right, so we're going to insert a speed. It's going to be managed. Hello. No managed speed? Why? Why no managed speed? So we're going to insert 145. And our initial heading will be 349. Alright, so altitude that's a transition altitude. So we got the constraint. Let's turn on our VORs. It's all turned on. Flight director to on. And now it's managed. Alright. Right, MCDU setup completed, RadNav setup completed, IFR clearance has been received, IR line has been aligned, flight plan reviewed, NF is nav aids, takeoff briefing. Now, we are just missing our squawk, which is 2131. Let's clear this. 2131. Alrighty. We're good to go. Let's call the guys in the ground, tell them that we're fine here, and we are going to prepare for push and start. Start our APU. 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Thank you. Set these two to on. APU is starting. Someone asked me why don't I turn on the fuel pumps for the APU. Well, the APU has its own feeding for fuel, so it doesn't need fuel pumps. Equipment has been removed.
Locking gear.
É verdade, grande charter hoje, LPCB, plane spotting. And APU is available, so let's bleed it in, let's turn off our external power, and we're good to go. Alright. Pre-start checklist, APU master is on, APU master is set to start, MCD weights are inserted, MCU takeoff performance check, V speeds We got 135, 138, 145, and the flex 53 set. Seatbelt signs are on and air conditioning is on. External power is off. Pre-start checklist complete. All right, let's call it in. Let's request push and start.
Sorted 1 heavy. Ramp 20 request pushback and engine start.
It's a bit too loud.
Sorted 1 heavy, Porto Grand, pushback and engine start approved. Face south.
Facing south.
Face south. Sorted 1 heavy.
All right, so we're still waiting. Oh, continue. Face south.
Release parking brake, please.
Parking brake released. Oh, we need to remove the chocks. Keep forgetting that. Let's set the parking brake on. And now ground equipment. Move GPU, remove chocks. Here we go. There we go. And now parking brake off.
Commencing push.
All aircraft be advised, information to now current QNH 1022.
1022, copy. There we go, starting number 4. Oh, we need the beacon. So, what happens when you don't follow the checklists? And fuel pumps. Now we need the fuel pumps. Fuel pumps to on. My bad. Beacon is on. Steering pin has been transponder set to auto. And clock set to run. One's pulling up. Engine number 1 is available. Sorry, number 4 is available. Start number 3.
Parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Affirm. Pretty linear, the Airbus philosophy of engine starts and all that. It's pretty linear. There's no real science to it. It's all controlled by FADEC, so everything's pretty much automated. Right, Betsy? Nah. Not today. I'm pretty sure the APU is capable of starting 2 engines at a time, but let's keep on keeping on. Number 3 is available. Start number 2. 4 engines, but it doesn't sound like 4 engines. Sounds like an Airbus A340, to be honest. And we're so far ahead from the engines that we don't actually get to hear them. Let's take a look outside just for the sake of appreciating this beauty. There it is, our A340 VIP going to Warsaw.
Iberia 30 Foxtrot Charlie, gate 33 taxi by Foxtrot 1 Echo 3 Echo, Echo 2 Echo 1 Sierra 6 Bravo, Sierra 3. Gate 33 by Foxtrot 1 Echo 3 Echo, Echo 2 Echo 1
Let's
Sierra
call
6 Bravo,
GSX,
Sierra
tell
3
them that
Iberia
we got a
30
good push and
Foxtrot
start,
Charlie.
a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Again, number 2, start number 1. Two is available. One's pulling up.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass being removed. Left is clear, right is clear.
When it started, and it's good to go. So APU bleed off, engine master, APU master switch off. NTIs, what's our outside temperature? We're below 6, so we'll use engine NTIs for departure. After anything below 10 degrees Celsius, we use engine NTIs, and engine NTIs only. You'll notice that as soon as I turn on the NTIs, the engine's pulled up a little bit. That's normal, because it needs to produce hot air around the nacelles, so it enters a little higher regime. So before taxi checklist, auto brake set to max, spoilers armed, we got flaps set to takeoff, which is flaps 1, engine NTI set, flight controls set, engine mode selector back to normal, flight controls, full deflection left, neutral, full deflection right, neutral, full pitch up, neutral, full pitch down, neutral, full rudder left, neutral, full rudder right, neutral. Rudder trim set to reset, just press that button, and steering pin has been removed. I guess taxi to the runner.
Ready to taxi to the active.
Sorted 1 heavy, runway 35 taxi via Sierra 2 Bravo.
Copy.
Alright, we'll taxi to runway 35 by Sierra 2 Bravo, sorted 1 heavy.
And there we go.
Sorted 1 heavy, contact Porter Tower 118.005.
Yeah, just as I thought, it will send us directly to the tower.
Sorted 1 heavy.
Parking brake off. Zoom out a little bit for your viewing pleasure. So after coming from the last flight on the MD-11, this feels like home. It feels like it feels normal, you know. Alright, we're gonna park up ahead, perform our before takeoff checklist, memory items. There's a flame over there. It's odd. Probably a refinery. I never saw that, to be honest. Alright, here we go. So let's perform memory items. So cabin crew, let's notify them. So we're going to set the external lights to takeoff, nose wheels light set for takeoff, NTIs, PACs, TCAS, we're going to set to TARA and above as it is. Weather radar set to on. Predictive wind shear set to auto. Weather mode not required. Takeoff, ECAM status, no blue. There we go. Let's recall departure. Request departure.
Heavy, holding short, runway 35.
Sorted 1 heavy, hold short of 35.
Roger, hold short of
So
35,
there's an
sorted
airplane
1 heavy.
incoming. Oh, there it is. Of course, it had to be a Ryanair. See if it lands better than the last few times we saw them landing. Oh, much better. That doesn't bump. Oh, there's a bump. Spoke too soon. Line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 35, sorted 1 heavy.
Ryanair 65 Foxtrot Bravo, exit right at Foxtrot 1.
Exit right at Foxtrot 1, Ryanair 65 Foxtrot Bravo.
So I'm going to take this line forward so that we can have as much runway as we can. Remember, this plane is not the most...
Holding short, runway 35. Luxon 3768.
It's not the fastest plane accelerating and climbing, so we need all the runway we can get.
3768. Ryanair 65 Foxtrot Bravo, monitor ground 118.855, have a good afternoon.
Ground 118.855, Ryanair 65 Foxtrot Bravo, bye bye.
clear for takeoff.
Runway 35 cleared for takeoff, Sawtooth 1 heavy.
Flex set. Flex 53 SRS. Airspeed alive. V1 rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Beautiful. Lever set to climb. Gear up.
Contact port of departure 127.155.
Speed check. Flaps up.
Porto, Sawtooth 1 heavy, 2,000 feet.
Sawtooth 1 heavy, point of departure. Identified. Climb to flight level 120.
1 to 0.
Climb to flight level 120, Sawtooth 1 heavy.
Autopilot 1 engaged. Give us some rest so we can perform the after takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist, gear is up, flaps are retracted, spoilers disarmed, thrust set to climb, autopilot as required, nose wheel lights set off, runway turn off lights off. After takeoff checklist complete. Passing through transition altitude, set standard at cross-checked. We're actually climbing a little bit faster for an A340, but don't get your hopes up. This still is 4 wind blowers or 4 hair dryers outside. Auto marker. Actually a good rate, 4,500 feet per minute. It's actually not bad for an A340. But not that heavy. Not as heavy as a regular passenger A340, so that's why. Lisbon Center.
Lisbon Center, Sawtooth 1 heavy. Good afternoon. Through flight level 097 for flight level 120.
Sawtooth 1 heavy, Lisbon Center, identified. Climb to flight level 240.
That's not our final. That's just a step climb. First step is 24,000 feet, and then we'll get to, as you'll see right here, and after ASDAB we'll get to 40,000 feet. We need to request it, of course. Step climbs are both within to accomplish certain corridors, but also to save fuel. So if the plane could climb to a higher altitude, but it would be spending too much fuel to get there, or it couldn't reach because of performance. In any case, desculpa, Diniz, eu saí do Porto. Hello, Andrew, welcome. Já foi há algum tempo, Diniz, peço desculpa. Só agora é que eu vi o chat. Alright, so now we'll open our flight plan a little more so we can see the top of climb for flight level 340. And as we know, we're going to require step climb at ASDAP, and as we do that, we're going to need to call flight our ATC, start our climb for flight level 400. So far, so good. So climb checklist barrel reference set to standard after transition. Anti-ice not required. Well, we are climbing, so it is recommended to turn off the anti-ice as soon as you clear ground because, and I'll explain why in a moment. So weather radar set as required, above 10,000 feet, landing lights off, wing lights, let's leave it on, and seatbelt signs set to auto. Alright. So why should we turn off the engine anti-ice? I've explained this in the past few streams, but it's never too much to explain it. So basically, when you're flying in icy conditions, and in the world of aviation, anything below 10 degrees Celsius is considered icy conditions. So that's why we took off with engine anti-ice, because it was minus 6, if I'm not mistaken, at Porto. It's much more now. So we always take off with engine anti-ice. Why not wing anti-ice? Well, wing anti-ice should only be turned on when visually you can see ice forming on the wing. Otherwise, it's just overstressing the anti-ice system, as it's composed of hot air that flows to the wing. So it's only really used when there is two things: below 10 degrees Celsius again, but also when there's humidity in the air, so there's rain or snow, and there's a visible layer of ice on the detector. Where is the detector? We talked about that. It's this little device right there. This little device here. If you see the light on, there will be, if there's ice particles, you can clearly see the crystals forming around this little device here. And if you see ice here, then you should turn on the wing anti-ice. But when do you turn it on? Do you turn it on the ground? Well, if there's ice here, certainly. But if there's ice there, that means it's ice everywhere. It's probably requesting and de-icing from the ground crew. So basically, we only turn on wing anti-ice when you can clearly see there's ice or snow or similar. When there's no such thing, wing anti-ice should be turned off and left off for the entirety of the flight, unless you go through clouds and you see ice crystals forming here, then you should turn on the wing anti-ice. As for the engine anti-ice, it's a bit different. For the engine anti-ice, you do require to turn it on in any condition. Let it be condensation, snow, rain. If it's below 10 degrees Celsius, you should turn it on, but you should also turn it off during climb and cruise, because there's a slight chance the ice forming could become thick and could eventually, with the anti-ice system, huge chunks of ice be ingested by the engine. That's not good. So if there is ice and we just let it thaw with the ice, with the wind, more or less like that. So it's not linear. There are more nuanced stuff there, and then there's also company procedures. So I'm following one specific company procedure. Engine anti-ice should be turned on during takeoff and landing, but not during climb or cruise. As for wing anti-ice, I've already explained. If there's ice formation below 10 degrees Celsius and there's notoriously ice forming, then you should turn it on, but also not during cruise, or at least not during critical cruise phases, probably during climb and descending for sure, and on the approach. But other conditions, it varies. Hello, Phyllis Cox. Welcome. So we're now cruising at flight level 240, but we'll step climb to flight level 400 in a moment. As you can see, there's a little, well, you can barely see it, but there's a little There's a little line here, a white line. This indicates that we need to step climb. This is a step climb indication. And I'll be making a nice tour. Andrew, Jose, Dinesh, and Phyllis. I'll be making a nice little cruise to the cabin, and I'm sure you'll find it very interesting what we have to see back there. So hang in there. Give me a moment to stabilize flight. I need to at least program the step climb in a moment, so hang in there. So we're going for Madrid Center. We're still a bit far away from our step climb, but as soon as we get somewhere between 10 nautical miles, I'll call it in and request the climb for flight level 400. So let's do that now. Let's call ATC Madrid Center and let's request flight level 400. Madrid Center, Sawtooth 1 Heavy, request flight level change. We need to call the change first.
Sawtooth 1 Heavy, you broke up. Say again altitude.
Oh, she didn't understand. Let's do it. Flight level 400.
Sawtooth 1 Heavy, confirm your altitude, flight level 400.
Affirmative, Sawtooth 1 Heavy.
Sawtooth 1 Heavy, roger, climb to flight level 400.
There we go. And managed. There we go, managed. So I'm doing managed because I want the FMC to control everything, including the restrictions and conditioning, but you can do it open, with open ascent, or you can do it manually by selecting the vertical speed. Alright, as soon as we get to this, stabilize this very long line, we'll go back to the cabin and I'll show you around the cabin.
Cisco 82 Alpha Zulu, contact distance center 119.55.
Contact distance center 119.55 was code 82 Alpha Zulu.
So why did I say that President Trump would probably be envious of this plane? I'll show you. So, first of all, check if everything's okay. Looks like it is. Alright, so let me just go back here and sit down correctly. Now let's go back. Let's open our little door here. And welcome to luxury. So first of all, before showing you the rest, let me just show you what the crew rests. So remember, this is just a place where the crew, the flight crew, the pilots and stewardesses all walk around and use. So this is the lavatory for the crew, basically. It's a basic lavatory. And look at that, we're vampires. We don't see our reflection. And flushing, pretty standard, just like any other regular airline loo. Now look at this. Is this a crew rest or is this a crew rest? How about that? First class or at least business class chairs, really comfortable looking, but even better than that, look at that. Would you mind being a crew on this plane? You can even have some privacy there. Oh, actually no, this is to close the exit door. This, by the way, these curtains, they need to be open anytime the plane is taking off or landing, regardless of the privacy you want. These curtains need to be closed only in flight, can only be closed in flight. I noticed that there's this ground effect there, this little light is really cool. Let's close this. Alright, so you've seen the crew rest? Pretty impressive, isn't it? So you can only imagine what the rest of the plane will be, right? You'll see. So this is a little cupboard, lavatory, refrigerated, probably for cold drinks. There's a little light switch there, it's not working. It's a little flower there. You don't see that on any regular airline. Now the insides of these planes are fully customizable. So this is what the client selected for this particular plane. There's no right-hand corridor, just a left-hand corridor, but you'll see why. So as you open this door, I've never seen like wood being used on regular airliners, so this is very, very new to me. This, you can see, this is a very private section right here. There's another door there, which we'll go in a moment. Of this door here, it's a full door and it looks really luxurious. And look at this. What do you get? A nice little lounge. Here's this reclining chair. Look at that. And you can even add your computer here, probably sockets in here, like internet connections and power connections. There's something to write about. There's some fruit here if you're feeling really hungry. And you'll notice that there's another door here. So this is like a little lounge, living room if you want. Nice TV, and yeah. And now, if you think the other room for the crew was nice, look at this. How about your own king-size bed? Huh? What do you say? Huh? How about that? It looks very comfortable. Nice TV screen over there as well. Nice mirror. Again, we're vampires. Nice little chair for the lady to do her makeup. There's even a call button next to the bed right there. You see that? Pretty cool. But yeah, whoa, hold on. There's more. There's another door here, and there's your own private bathroom. 2 lavatories, because one is not enough for all this luxury. Look at that. And it's not that's not really at all the last thing you'll be impressed with. That over there is not a throne, that's your loo. That's a bathroom with a little bidet. Can you see that? This little thingy to wash your, and the toilet seat is right here. You can't see it right now, but you can lift this, and of course there's a toilet underneath that. How cool is that? And wow, look at this, your own private shower. Look at that, glass window and all, and the water works. How about that? Fancy a shower? Not sure if something you would like to do on your regular Ryanair flight after everyone has used it, but if it's private, I mean, who's gonna say no to this, right? But we're not done yet. I mean, this is, for me, the most impressive part by far, but you'll get to see more. So, another thing I've noticed is that this plane has double windows. It has the normal outside windows that you regularly see on any airline, but you also have these big panes, like big panes. I believe this also serves as blinders, but I can't seem to activate the blinders underneath, if there's blinders at all. Yet another door, a sliding door, and yet another private room. And you notice that that whole section, probably for the airplane owner, you would guess, it's as its own private section that can be completely isolated from the rest of the plane, because this door leads to the rest of the aft section. So there's a door for the front, so the owner can go in, and there's a door in the back so that the other guys could go in. And what other guys do you think are coming into this flight? We'll see. So, jump seats. There's only one working for some reason, and a perfectly standard galley. I mean, it looks good because it's decorated in this like dark brown something, but it looks impressive regardless. But it is a basic galley, yeah. But then you get to yet another lounge, but this one is a little bigger. But actually, no, I think it's a little smaller actually, and you'll see why. But eventually, it does have some amenities like reclining chair, as well as the table, retractable table, and you can also watch the news here. Pretty cool. But yeah, this is like a second lounge for, you know, the not so rich, the guests, I would say. So the guests that come here, all chairs have, as you can see, all chairs have inbuilt seat belts, as it's mandatory. But look at this. Why is it a little smaller than the forward lounge? Well, there's a reason for that, and it's right here. Yet another bathroom with a nice little throne seat, you know, to poop, and a nice little lavatory, as well as your nice little shower. And it's pretty much the same as the one in the VIP area. So pretty cool for your guests, because you're a nice guy. You like people to take showers in your airplane, I suppose. But wait, there's more. So where are these people coming to? Well, what about a nice little champagne on board this wonderful plane? And you have yourself some nice comfy business class chairs as well to get along, play some cards, do some business, maybe trade secrets, you know, stuff. And now we come to the less fortunate side. So there's another loo here. Nice little throne seat as well, but not as fancy as the other loos. A little smaller. And this one serves, there's another one here, so there are two. So this one serves this other lounge with first class seats. So, you know, because you want to take your entire friends, but there are more friends than actual friends, so they're sitting here. They probably would sit here during the takeoff and landing phases, and then move to the lounge areas or the meeting areas. I believe the first one is like a meeting area. But wait, there's more. So these are business class type chairs, pretty comfy. And you know, because there are friends that are a little less friends. They're a little like, yeah, less than best friends. So they don't get to sit on the first class chairs, but they get to sit on this area here. Nice little lounge. Journalists, for example, if you want to bring journalists with you for some reason. And that's it. This is the aft section with a few more loos for the even less fortunate to be not as good friends as the ones up front. There's another loo here. Pretty standard loos, just like the ones up front. And yeah, just a nice little galley. I believe it has much more equipment than the front ones. And again, nice little jump seats. Does this work? Oh, it does. So let's see. Can I change colors to royal blue? Oh my god, much better. I mean, I don't mind the lime, but looks much better. Coral, nice. There's cyan. Party mode. What's party mode? Wow, look at that. Nice. Amber. I think mint looks good. Or, yeah. Deep purple, amber. Yeah, mint looks good. There's also temperature. And of course, the doors are currently all armed. The water supply, you can barely see it because of the way MFS 2024 handles lighting, so now it's much better. So you can see the water waste, water and waste, not the water waste. And you can also set zones. As you can see, there are 3 zones, so you can set different zones for the different different areas of the aircraft. It's pretty cool. All right, so welcome to my airplane. I hope you guys feel okay flying with me today. For my best friends, seats up front. For my not so best friends, you can sit here. And yeah. By the way, this is the only area where you got 2 aisles. See, 1 aisle, 2 aisles, and then there's another aisle up front to the other, to this area here, this conference area, this meeting area, and then there's only 1 single aisle. So you know where the VIP will walk. It's always where there's just 1 single aisle. Everybody else, the plebe, we need to sit on those aisles over there. So yeah. So I'm coming back to my own VIP area, which is the cockpit. So thank you all for flying with us today. Need to pull that jump seat up. And you can see how private this becomes, right? I mean, this area is completely isolated from the rest of the plane. This area right here. Not even the crew needs to go inside. Only the flight attendants, of course. And they have to walk this long corridor through the suite. But I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't mind flying even on those not so friendly seats. Business class. It looks really comfortable, I suppose. Los Angeles to New York via A340 custom livery. Princess of Beauty. You're talking about Flight Simulator, I suppose. Of course. I was wondering if you own one of these. Yeah, Phyllis, it's a pretty cool plane, isn't it? I love flying it as well. So we have a slight little warning there. There's a pressure is a little 9 psi. It's a little low or high, depending. But as long as it's so the cabin is still going up. Maybe because we climbed that fast, and we're at flight level 400. We're really up there. But other than that, doesn't seem anything's wrong. So we've been off the gate for 38 minutes, and we've been flying. So we took off 29 minutes ago. So here we are, according to our map. This is supposed to be like a 3-hour flight, but I'll fast forward it as usual by using time compression. So let's set it up for 4 times time compression, and there it is. We're flying at 4 times the speed, normal speed, so we should get there in less than an hour, maybe 45 minutes or so. In the meantime, enjoy, and I'll be right back.
153 Romeo Tango, Epixo 1 Delta, runway 21. Report ready for descent.
Epixo 1 Delta, runway 21, ready for descent. Alpine 53 Romeo Tango.
Alpine 53 Romeo Tango, descend to flight level 120.
Descend to flight level 120, Alpine 53 Romeo Tango.
Alright, I'm back. Thank you for sticking around. You seen that, Andrew? I think he still has that home with the runway. He no longer has the 707. He gave it away to a museum, I think. But I mean, the guy would just climb out of his house, hop in his 707, and just fly. And same thing with arriving home. I remember him talking about going through some shooting of some movie, and he said, you know, every other actor needed to rent an hotel or something, and he just flew there every morning. He just flew to work and get back home. And I mean, it's not that uncommon. There are a lot of places on planet Earth where people can fly to their jobs and back, but you know, to own your own airliner and to be able to do that on a regular basis, no questions asked, no one asking you for tickets or anything of the sort, is pretty amazing. And riches apart, I mean, it takes a lot of money to buy and maintain such a big aircraft. Not even talking about the riches involved. I'm talking about the accomplishment of being able to do so, especially if you're an aviation enthusiast like I am. It's like a dream come true. Anybody that loves aviation to be able to fly their own planes, even if it's a small plane, but even better if it's a big, giant airliner, especially an oldie. You guys know I love oldies. I'm eager to get back to the MD-11. I love the first flight, and I'm going to love the next one because it's going to be a cargo flight with the MD-11F. And I'm just eager to get back on it. I just came to... Oh, there's a company message. I just came to fly this plane now because I didn't press anything. Yeah, we'll stay on flight level 400. There's no reason to descend now. But let's go to company message. Got a 82 company message. So we got an ADC. So Sierra Tango Tango 1, we got an this is our predict. Oh, we actually gained a few seconds. So instead of departing at 1950 as planned, we actually took off almost a minute before that. So nice. I'm on schedule, which is something very rare. So no ADC required. That's very rare. For those that follow the channel, you guys know that I'm always behind schedule on these flights, but not today. Not today. You probably saw here on ECAM a note saying aft trans. That's this plane has a small. Let me see if I can show you here. This plane has a small fuel tank on the back. Where could that be? Probably here. Yeah, it doesn't show, but there's an aft fuel tank on the back, so it can trim, you know, the weight and pull CG to the back. We're coming up on the equal time points. We can barely see it, but if I zoom out, you probably see it better. So you can see, barely see that ETP written in green. Let me zoom in. You can see that there now. ETP, that's the equal time point. That's the point of no return. So I've explained this in numerous times. If you guys want me to explain again, just say so. Otherwise, I won't repeat myself. Actually, this is a VIP flight, so the no smoking sign isn't really applicable. Let the guy smoke. The guy owns the plane, right? So we're coming up on 100 minutes of flight. Like I said, we're expecting 3 hours of real-time flight, but we are compressing time so we can do this in a more feasible length. So John Travolta, coming back to the John Travolta talk. Yeah, he had a 707 with a retro Qantas livery, and he also had I don't know if it was a global jet, but he had a private jet. So he didn't actually take the 707 to shoot his films. He probably took the smaller plane. So yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, Braniff had a lot of 720s and 707s, didn't they? I believe 720s are a bit older, but for those that don't know, the 720s were the precursors to the 707. They were more or less a shortened 707 variant. I think I'm not wrong here. But I do remember the Braniff colors and the Braniff airline. Really cool, man. I really am jelly for you, Phyllis. It sounds really cool to have your own 707. And you know, it's not every day we meet people that own planes. The closest thing I got to flying an oldie was in the sim. I flew, what was it? The Captain Sim, I think, 707? Yeah. It was very complex because it had the engineering panel, so it was very hard to fly solo. I believe there's a 707 out there for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but you probably won't see me flying that. If I struggle sometimes having just one guy flying these planes, and they're built to fly double crew. Imagine me flying a triple crew. It's not gonna happen. So we were on around the clock. We passed the 100 minutes. I'm talking about the chronometer right here. This one. So we passed 100 minutes. So we're 104 minutes flying. This is the time off gate, 1 hour and 53 minutes. So when we reach 1.5, we're almost there. That's the equal time point, so we're halfway to reach Poland. And this flight I'm making, it's completely made up, but and that's probably a good thing because we're flying a VIP jet, so the owner would never fly standard routes. Why would he, right? And like I say in the description, I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo has a nice plane, no doubt, but come on, this is a flying hotel. Oh, no, an hotel for one guy. Oh, it's gonna be a traffic conflict. Hold on. Let's see, hope not. We're passing to its right, so we'll be overtaking to the right, but we are getting awfully close to for my comfort. So when this happens, there's something called TCAS, and I have a small video demonstrating. TCAS will give you two things: an advisory. Well, we are turning towards them. So TA stands for traffic advisory, so there's an advisory and there's a recommended action. So, and that recommended action is to the pilot's discretion, but it's actually mandatory. It's an immediate response. So we'll see what TCAS will tell us. We're getting a little close to comfort. We are probably going to overtake to the right, but can't be too careful. And TCAS will work trying to separate by 1,000 feet. So this plane is at 800 feet above us, actually 400. Whoa, that's an 8, or there's a 4. There's an 8. I was right, 800 feet above us. It's in the boundary, and since it's above us, and I set my TCAS system to above, there it is. So I'm going to set it to all now, because I don't want it to filter out. Yeah, it's slowly separating from us to the left, which is good, but we'll still be in the boundary. It will trigger a proximity warning. So let's go to German airspace, Langen control. So we passed the French border to Germany. There it is. There's Germany right there. And we'll be flying through Germany for a while until we cross to the Polish border. Still monitoring that traffic over there. At this time, air traffic control should call us and ask us if we got the traffic in sight, but Beyond ATC is not capable of doing that for now. Maybe in the future. It's also not very good separating traffic, so that's why this guy is on our path, more or less. As far as I can tell, is probably coast speed, so he's probably flying at the same speed as we are. But since he's slowly drifting to the left, it's probably not going to be an issue. But I don't want to time accelerate until I'm pretty sure it's not going to be an issue for us. By the way, don't know if you've noticed, but we've been having some tailwind for almost the entirety of the flight, and that's pretty cool. Since we left Portugal, we've been having this nice little tailwind. That's going to give us some extra time. So we can come down here, and hopefully the bug is no, it's still there. I don't know why. It just says not allowed when after we take off, which doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's the way this is designed, but I'm pretty sure on the A320 we can go back in. Entirely orange. Oh, because of the Braniff colors? The Braniff colors were orange. You know, the prototype Boeings back in the day were red and orange, so that's, well, not orange, it was like mustard color, mustard and red, so it's quite fitting, I suppose. The most, sorry, the most beautiful 707 for me was the Pan Am. The Pan Am 707 was beautiful. I love that plane, and I saw it a few times flying to Portugal. Now the guy is now turning. He's going to cross us 800 feet above. I mean, it does look like it's crossing. And I don't want to take chances with these types of things. I don't want to get a on an incident. We already had a few incidents like these because beyond ATC is so poor separating traffic, but I don't want to get into that again. Trying to go by the book as best as I can. Even though I never flew in real life, I like to do things as close as possible to the real thing. Call me picky, but if you're flying a simulator, if you're not flying a game, if you know what I mean, then I think it's more suitable to try to do things right? Alright, looks like that plane is no longer a factor. If it keeps this route to the right, I no longer see it. At least I don't see its lights. So I'll assume that probably beyond ATC just clear that plane out of here, because it does have a radius to simulate this traffic, so it doesn't mess with my frame rate. Just imagine if you could simulate all the flights around me. There would be no computer to handle that. So it has a radius, and it will generate traffic around me, more or less realistic traffic that would be on this route at this time, according to the timetables it has. Currently it's switched to winter timetables, as it should, so it's probably following real life timetables. Beyond ATC is a wonderful tool using AI, but it does have its limitations. The last flight I tried to convince it to tell me a joke, and that's just to demonstrate how AI works with Beyond ATC. It's just AI, just like ChatGPT. The difference is that it's dedicated to flight control and flight management. Alright, so I think we're clear. Let's go back to time acceleration, because I don't want you guys to be bored. Even accelerating time, it's inevitable to get a little bored, to look at screens and all that. So Phyllis, tell me, what types of flights do you do? Is it just for leisure with your 707, or do you work for a company? I do remember that the last DC-8 that was flying in the United States was working for a charity company, so they were flying like aid around the world, and so they took the DC-8, sorry, but they're now flying 757 cargo, and so they grounded the DC-8 permanently. That's the last flight, I think, was last December, which is unfortunate. It's always bad to see classics leave the skies, you know. Oh, there it is, a trim tank transferred right there. You can see the fuel being transferred to the trim tank, which is situated in the back, in the tail of the aircraft. So it usually does that to balance the weight back, so it makes it a little bit more efficient. Not entirely sure if the A330 or the more recent A330 Neos do that, to be honest. Never looked into that. It probably does, but this is old school fuel transfer. So guys, if you're enjoying what you are watching, sorry about that, English is not my main language. If you're enjoying what you are watching, then please help the channel with the Buy Me a Coffee link. You can see the QR code in your upper right screen, or you can find the description below, and also pinned into the chat if you're following the chat in real life, in real time, of course. So now we have outer tank transfer. That means that the fuel is being transferred from the tip tanks into the main tanks. So the tip tanks right here into the main tanks. It's something that the system does automatically. That's done also on the other Airbuses as well. So basically it's transferring fuel to make sure that there's no fuel in the outboard tanks, because it's not necessary, so that it comes to the the more centralized the fuel is, the more efficient the aircraft is, and of course the wings will raise, it will help on lift, everything is positive by transferring the fuel inwards. As for real life flying, oh, that's nice, Phyllis. Really, really cool. So, not a lot of cycles on that plane, right? So, well, it must have had when it was flying commercial, but now with you, it must have little cycles, so it reduces the maintenance costs as well. That's cool. If I had the money and President Trump would sell those VC-25s, even if they stripped everything out, because they will, of course. I'm not sure that plane will be grounded. Those two, there are two VC-25s. I would love to buy that, because that's a 747-200 beneath all that secret gear inside. So strip it out of all the weapon systems and protections and all that weird thing that plane must have, and I would definitely buy it if I had the money for that. I love the 747-200. It's actually a plane I flew way back on a charter company on my vacation. I didn't fly it myself, I was a passenger, but really amazing experience. Alright, so we're almost reaching the Polish border. We're on midpoint in Germany right now. We're going for Bremen now. Radar contact. So it's basically shifting us between radar stations. A lot of countries have different divisions that fly different approaches, different airports. Yeah, Andrew, I actually flew the TAP Portugal A310. My first ever flight was on an A310. Then I flew the 747-200 to Mexico on vacation. I actually flew the MD-80. It was one of the best flights I've ever had with SAS. What a pleasant flight, what a pleasant crew, pleasant service, pleasant country, pleasant people. Denmark is amazing. Flew to Aarhus in Denmark, the northern area of Denmark. I flew all types of Airbuses, A320, A321, A319 as well. Also flew the 340, not as a pilot again, as a passenger, but flew the 777, 200, not the 300, and flew a lot of little small planes, Decknams, Sokata. TB30 was one of the best flights I've ever had. Flying the plane, really grabbing the yoke. Cessna 150, Cessna 152, 172, and 182 RG, so retractable gear. Flew the Piper Cherokee 6. All of these planes I had yoke time, so stick time, so was really amazing. I had a friend, I have more than one friend, pilot friends, and they gave me this wonderful experience. The next plane that I'm probably going to fly is the Dornier, the Dornier 226. I think it's Dornier 226 that flies regionally here. The captain of that airplane is my friend, my personal friend, and he's already invited me more than once to make a couple of flights with him. So, and I'm sure I'm not gonna grab the yoke or anything, and I'm sure that it's going to allow me to at least go in the cockpit. At least, I'm not sure. You see, those are commercial flights, and I probably cannot sit in the cockpit, but you never know. Those are single pilot airplanes, by the way, but they always fly with a crew of two. There was some turbulence up here. I don't know if you guys noticed the wind changed from the tail to the right. The plane was shaken slightly. Alright, we're at about 150 miles to our top of climb, top of descent, and we're about to cross the border to Poland. As soon as we get to at about 80 miles from that top of descent, I'll get back to normal time acceleration, or decelerate time, better said. So my next flight, as I said earlier, will be on the MD-11F. I'll be flying a cargo flight from Poland. I'm still undecided. I'm not decided on the destination. I really like the oh, my bad. Stepped on my rudder pedals. That was me. It wasn't the wind. All right, here we go. I'm divided to go to Tel Aviv because I really like the Tel Aviv airport, and the approach is pretty cool. Really tight approach. Or I will go to another Middle Eastern destination. So I've been to Cairo, I've been to Abu Dhabi, and now I'm thinking about going to Dubai. I've not been to Dubai yet, and for that I'll be taking the MD-11F, probably a FedEx flight. Alright, we passed the border. We are in Poland. We've not landed yet, so I'm not saying welcome to Poland. Not yet. That's not jinx the flight. Alright. So you can see a big difference in these Western countries, Eastern countries, is that the cities aren't that big as they are, for example, in France or Germany. So you clearly know that you're no longer in Germany or France when you start seeing more smaller cities, smaller villages. You know what plane I would love to fly, Andrew? In real life, as a passenger, of course, I'm not a pilot. In real life, I would love to fly the 757 that you also love. Such a beautiful plane, such high performance, high rate of climb. That's a beauty to fly in. And of course the A350. It's a plane I dream to fly. Unfortunately, I can't really afford it to fly right now, nor do I have any business anymore. I used to fly a little bit more when I had a business that allowed me to do so. I no longer have that business, so I'm a work-at-home guy. So flight for me only on the Sims. Is a KLM flight flying to Krakow, or out of Krakow, or into Krakow? So guys, if you enjoy this content, remember, leave a like, subscribe, share with your friends, and if you're willing, you can also donate to help the channel. Every single donation that I've been receiving is being used to invest on new add-ons, new sceneries. So that's it. All right, let's decelerate time because we need to prepare our descent. So the first thing we're going to do is going to check our weather, so we can insert oh, there it is. Let's insert check destination data. So let's do that. Let's go to our Simbrief dispatch weather, and it's much reliable to do it like this. So this is Porto. This is Warsaw. So we have winds and let's insert this data. So next phase. So we got QNH at Porto 1033. There it is. And we got, oh, not Porto, Warsaw. So we got negative 11. So let's insert a minus. Where's the minus here?
One heavy. Warsaw control expected for 7 November. Runway 11.
Oh, bip, bip, bip. 7 November, runway 11. Accept. Alright, so minus 11. Not allowed. What do you mean not allowed? So we got winds 130 at 6. 130 at 6. And now we're going to insert the flight plan data. Beep. So it's going to be runway 11. ILS Zulu, always pick the Zulu. And go to Bipin 7 November. Let's see if there's a transition in our charts. So let's pin a couple of charts here. Let's go for the airport charts, parking stands, airports, taxi routes. And now let's set for the arrival, Bipin 7 November, very first one. And the ILS approach for runway, approach right there, ILS Zulu for runway 11. Let's see, where is that? ILS Zulu 11, ILS Zulu 11. So that's Cat 2, that's Cat 1. Let's go check Cat 1. So decision height, we got a Bravo Charlie. So I think we could pick the Bravo 574. Oh, and forgot the Via. Oh, there's only one, so this one's it. Insert. Now let's go back to performance again. And let's set the barrel reference to 582 on the Class C. 582. Barrel. Done. Alright. So we're going to land in config 3. And so we're going to pick the Jeep flap mode off up here, so we don't get the too low flaps warnings. That's basically what we do there. Alright, so we're expecting, let's call ready for descent. 170. Let's do a managed descent. Here we go. And let's turn on our seatbelt signs for our VIP passengers in the back. Sorry about my mouse, always jumping around. Alright, so as you can see with the managed descent, there's a performance circle there, green one. What we need to do is follow the green circle to maintain the pre-calculated VNAV path, but since we picked the descent earlier than the top of descent, that little green ball will go up. But there's no risk of losing anything. The plane will start descending on a steady rate, but it will slow down on the rate so that it can catch the managed descent profile. Thank you Andrew for being here. Thank you so much for your friendship. You, Jose, also Denise was here earlier, and of course Phyllis Cox, who I really, how do I say, I really respect you for that 707 you said. You own.
Contact Bremen Radar 125.8. Contact Bremen Radar 125.8. Ryanair 5 Whiskey Hotel.
So I should probably check on the weather again. Because we got NSC and BR. So I think this is snow. Let me confirm this. Give me a moment. No significant cloud. Oh, it's nothing like snow. And what does BR stand for? Oh, mist. There's a mist. Slight mist. So there's mist, there's negative temperatures, which means that we might need to land with engine anti-ice for sure, and probably wing anti-ice. We'll have a good look at our little detector there as we begin our approaches to Warsaw. So yes, Phyllis. Well, not in. I mean, I keep my flights between airports as steady as I can. So if I'm landing on Poland, the next flight will be out of, oh, in this case, Warsaw. The next flight will be out of Warsaw to the next destination. But I don't fly like back to back every day because I can't. I have kids and not a lot of time to do this. But maybe tomorrow or Thursday I'll fly, at this time more or less, I'll fly the MD-11F out of Warsaw, probably to Dubai. I'm still struggling on that, still thinking about it, but I'll probably fly to Dubai on the MD-11F cargo variant. So in real time we are 3 hours out of the gate and 172 hours in flight, so a little less than 2 hours. Less than 3 hours, sorry. So it's about 3 hours and 52 minutes, 2 hours and 52 minutes of flight. It's a little bit hard to convert this to standard minutes, right? Standard hours, but it takes some time, but you kind of know that 120 is 2 hours, so 60 of course is 1 hour, and 120 is 2 hours, and so on. 180 is 3 hours, so you kind of get used to that. You can use this chrono for your flight time, or you can use this one right here. So either way, this one will depict a little chrono here on the ND. Some guys like this. I usually use this chrono here, but today I decided to use this one. It's the same thing, as long as you're counting flight time, and this is elapsed time, so this is out of the gate, this is flight time, and this is of course UTC time. You can also set this to local. You don't need to use UTC. You can easily just set to any time you wish. And I know it's standard procedure, some airlines set the local time, so whenever you're flying to the destination you can insert the local arrival time here, but you know, we're flying a simulator, we're not flying an airline, so it's pointless to do so. I'm a little bummed that CPDLC is not working. Not sure what happened here. I do have it set it for beyond ATC, but it simply did not connect. When that happens, sometimes you can try to backtrack your steps and see if you missed something, but it's better just to call in voice and just request clearance by voice. Don't spend too much time on it, because these planes will have their bugs. They always do. So the approach is, looks like it's a little funky, but so where is that? There's the approach. So we're coming in from Bimpa, and then yeah, it's a little funky. So you see that we're going to make like a zigzag approach, and then when we reach this, the airport's right there. So these are all the constraints. So we're going to be at flight level 080, then reduce speed, then come down to flight level 500, or in this case probably below the transition level, 5,000 feet. And then when we reach WA 412, and that's when we are going to be routed to ILS. And the ILS is pretty linear. You come out of WA 412 right here and go in to the runway. It's going to be a standard 3-degree glide slope. So out of 8.3 DME distance to the marker, we will start our descent, course 108 at the 3-degree descent rate. So yeah, I'm going to check the tuning of our flight instruments, of course. And as for the missed approach, so in case we encounter a situation where we go amiss, we're going to straight ahead to Obil right there, then turn right at the maximum speed of 185 knots into 248, climbing to 3,000 feet, and then as directed. However, VONATC does not respect this. It cannot see this procedure because it's not written in the code yet, and it will give us radar vectors. So our true missed approach procedure is flight straight ahead and expect vectors. That's it. And it will take us all the way back and start again. That's how VONATC does things. It's not perfect. I mean, all pilots like to brief their missed approaches, but in this case we can't really do that. It's beautiful, clear sky. I mean, there's nothing on the weather radar, there's nothing on the sky either. Just no clouds as we saw on the METAR. No significant clouds. There's a slight mist according to the METAR, so there's still going to be a little challenge in perspective, but nothing that we cannot handle. And we are managing our descent to flight level 170 as briefed.
Magic Sun 4106, contact Rockwell Tower 120.255. Over to Tower 120.255, Magic Sun 4106, have a good evening.
Magic Sun, I think that's Sun class, if I'm not mistaken. Sun class. A little. If it is Sun class, it's a charter, low-cost company. Sorry, from a Nordic, probably Swedish. Not sure. I know it's Nordic because I already made a flight with that livery. And speaking of liveries, for those that did not see it before, it's not just a VIP airplane on the inside, it's also a VIP plane on the outside. It's a beautiful livery. This is a private, well, it is a company, and they do charter this plane. They rent this plane, so if you want to feel like a rich guy, you can rent this plane. I don't know how much they charge for it, but like I said earlier, I couldn't find the prices on their website. But yeah, you can be presidential for one day. You can see now the trim tank being transferred again. This of course is variable, and it will transfer back to the front of the plane, or to the midsection, if you consider it's in the wings, in order to bring back balance. Alright, we're going to run through our descent checklist. So MCDU landing briefing, rev has been reviewed, TCAS set to below. I actually set it to normal or all, but I'm going to set now to below so you can filter the above. Nav aids have been reviewed. We already concluded that we are going to fly this approach. So here is our little plane to Bimpa. So let's keep this page up for now. Where are we? Oh, descent checklist. Okay, so anti-ice, yeah. TAT is -9. So for now, we're just gonna turn on the engine anti-ice, and we're gonna keep monitoring that probe over there.
Swift 1 heavy, descend to flight level 080.
Descend to flight level 080.
080. There it goes. Again, manage descent. Let's keep descending. Allow it to manage that descent rate so we can keep within the flight envelope. Again, we can do this manually, but let's keep it as it is. Anti-ice as required. EFIS set to constraints, already set in constraint. Descent checklist above the line complete. So the next phase will be passing 10,000 feet. We'll set to standard. Passing 10,000 feet, we'll turn on the external lights, and passing the transition altitude, we'll set out a standard to local QNH. My bad. She didn't say the local QNH, did she? But we do know it's something 1033, so we'll see. You can see that the latest update for Flight Simulator 2024 really improved the night lighting. I mean, look at this. Before, we would have this weird looking orange haze that really didn't favor the sim at all. Now it's just sharp, really pretty and sharp. We can skip now my checklist for the landing checklists. So as we approach, we're going to set our FEs, our ND set to terrain, our gear will be down, then we'll turn on our external lights to all, the nose wheel lights to take off, auto brakes set, spoilers armed, flaps landing, landing memo no blue. So this is going to be our landing checklist. Let's go to Warsaw approach. We're still above the managed descent, but we're also wanting to keep the 250 knots so that we can keep up with that constraint over there. So the plane's doing its thing. It should descend to that rate, so about, I would say 140, so 1,400 feet per minute. But if it, by doing so, it would probably accelerate beyond the 250 knots, which is mandatory to keep for the next phase. And so it's telling me to extend the speed brakes, and it's exactly what we'll do right now. Extend it. Even though it says full, the plane will never extend it fully. It will extend it with limitations. So what's it doing now is the speed brakes will allow the plane to lower the nose without accelerating. And so it's going to keep up with managed descent. It's actually decelerating, and now we pull it back in so that the engines don't spool up. So it's a game of energy. Descending will gain energy, so we don't need more engine power. We'll just help it by not allowing it to accelerate too much. So there's our airport right there. You can actually see the airport, but we're not going to land straight in, of course. We're going to make a parallel descent, a zigzag approach pattern, and that's actually the runway that we're looking into right now. That's where we're going to land, actually. But we're going to make a zigzag all the way back here and then inside. Some airports have this it allows ATC to manage traffic in a consistent corridor so that traffic won't go around crazy, and it will allow us to also descend to descend and decelerate until we can actually make our approach with the appropriate altitude and speed. It's pretty cool. Lisbon Airport has a similar system. It's not exactly like this. I call it half banana. Now, got a lot of messages. Don't know what happened. Did something happen in the world of aviation? There's a lot of messages of people wanting to talk to me for some reason. Most of my friends know I'm into aviation, so whenever there's something weird happening in the world, they kind of reach me. Actually, that's not the airport. The airport is... Where is the airport? Where is it? Should be somewhere over there, maybe behind the pillar. So this is Warsaw. Really looks like a big city. I've never been, although I heard wonders about Poland, but fortunately I've never been able to be there. So this is our little path to land. Can you see the airport, Betsy? Can you see it? Very rude, woman. You're very rude. 5,000. Keep descending. That's actually our next constraint right there. That little beep 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 is just a change in the vertical path. We were about to intercept the previously set 8,000 feet, so it was about to change into altitude mode, but then we managed again, and we went back to descent mode, so that warning is just telling us that we managed path, if you want. There's the airport, I believe, but although that runway is not ours. Back in the day when I started flying, I wasn't that patient, nor did I follow SOPs, so if I saw that runway straight ahead, I would say, that's definitely where I'm going to land. And I would just turn around, turn the plane in, and just fly into it. And if you think about it, I bet a lot of pilots would love to do that sometimes, just fly straight in, all these approaches and turns and all that. Why not fly just straight in and just land the plane? I bet a lot of pilots would love to do that sometimes. Yeah, guys, if you like what you see, please help me with your like, your subscription, and your sharing with your friends if you think they'll like it. And of course, if you feel like it, there's also a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description, as well as in the pin on this chat. Also in the QR code on the upper right screen if you feel like it. Don't feel obliged to it, just every money that I raise through these donations I reinvest, so I buy my add-ons, my airplanes, my sceneries. There's the next constraint, 220 knots, that's right on the mark. There it is, 220 knots, 220 knots, 220 knots all the way in, and then there's the next constraint is 5,000 feet, so we're complying with that fully. And we'll be making 2 more turns. There it is, standard altitude, so let's get to our standard altitude, which should be 1033. There it is. So set and cross-check. Descent checklist below the line. So we barrel reference and transition level set. There's yet another item on below the line. So again, it's telling us to extend the speed brakes. However, in this particular circumstances, is not just to keep the speed, but also to keep the constraint. So again, extending the speed brake, allow the plane to nosedive a little bit. And again, we don't want to accelerate beyond that restriction. And you can hear the roar. So the speed brakes, they will come in slowly and they'll not go fully extended at some point if it's over speed. Now the engines, we are in a managed descent, the engines are spooling up, we bring the speed brakes back in. We're about to reach 5,000 feet on the constraint. We can turn on our landing system now, although we cannot engage approach yet. I just want to see what's tuned in, so that's WAS, Whiskey Alpha Sierra, and the frequency is 109.9, so let's confirm that with our ILS data. There it is, 109.9 WAS, confirmed. Another way to confirm this is 3,500. There it is again. We switch to VNAV, vertical speed. Now we're going back to descent. So we got a speed error at waypoint Lumsa. This often occurs. Not really sure if it's a database error or anything of the sort. What matters is that we continue to obey to what the ATC tells us to do. So there's a plane incoming, but we are now going for our little turn here. And I believe this is going to be our final turn. Let's go back to BIP approach. Actually, no, it's going to be our penultimate turn. Alright, we're clear to the ILS. There's our final turn there. So we're going to set up approach because we are cleared. We are just cleared to pass the next waypoint at 3,500 feet at least, and then initiate our approach. So we can switch our charts for the Cat 1 ILS approach. There it is. And there it is. So this is going to be our little approach for tonight. I'm going to set myself up. Turning on my track IR as I usually do. So guys, place your bets. Is this going to be a go-around? Here's hoping it's not. Alright, so alright, here we go. Turning in, we allow the plane to make these turns to give us some aid. We got our approach mode active, so as soon as there it is, the lock star, so it's intercepting the localizer right now. We got altitude star, so not light slope yet, so it's going to maintain 3,500 until that little chevron will start descending. Let me zoom in for your viewing pleasure. So we are locking in the stable and stabilizing the localizer. There it is. Now the glide slope is turned into a diamond. We got glide slope in blue, it means armed. For now we're keeping altitude, 3,500. And now we're going to help the plane decelerate a little bit by setting flaps 1. Speed check flaps 1. We're still on engine anti-ice because the TAT is below 10 degrees Celsius. There it is. So That minus 011 is not true. Passing 200 knots. So we are on the land. I forgot to turn on the landing lights. We're about to intercept glide slope.
Contact exit tower 118.305.
Over to tower 118.305.
Going to tower.
Exit tower, Salted 1 heavy, ILS runway 11.
Glide slope star.
1 heavy, exit tower, wind 110, 3 runway 11 cleared to land.
Clear to land.
Runway 11 cleared to land.
Speed check flaps 2. And we are clear to land. Gear down. Landing checklist. If is as required, nose ND terrain, let's set to co-pilot to ND terrain. Exterior lights set to all. Wing lights on, beacon on. Auto brakes set 1 to low. Spoilers arm. Flaps set to flaps 3. Speed check flaps 3.
2,500.
Landing memo no blue. Landing checklist complete. So we got crosswind 10 degrees, 10 knots I mean. No big deal. Zoom out a little bit. As soon as we get to that reference speed 1220 knots for the VAP, I'll take control. I might get my feet on
2,000.
pedals. 2000 check. My pedals are elevated, so I need to raise my feet to get on them. That's why it's a little struggle here. There we go. Nice and steady. Little crosswind. We've been through worse. Alright guys, here we go. We're clear to land. Got flaps, config 3 as briefed. We got VAP 122 knots. A little high. A little bit above. There it is, 122 knots now. We got glide slope localizer intercepted. Everything looks fine. It's getting a little more closer. A little closer. Let's look outside for a moment. Just as Mitar said, there's a slight haze at ground level. Right, there we go, guys. Landing in it, but autopilot off. Five hundred check. Oh, don't. Check. Land.
300. 100 above.
Check.
Minimum 200.
Continue. You can see the discrepancy. We're below the glide path, but the PAPI say we're too high. So this will happen.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Touchdown. Auto brake. Roll out. Reverse. Reverse. Auto brake off.
Exit next available taxiway. Sorted 1 heavy.
Let's take that first to the left. Right here. Runway exit procedures. Too fast.
1 heavy. Contact ground 121.05.
Ground 121.05, sorted 1 heavy.
Alright, let's see.
Request taxi to allocated gate.
Sorted 1 heavy. Gate 10 taxi via November 1 Echo 1 Alpha 4 Oscar 2. 02 Mike 2 Kilo Bravo 2.
Gate 10 via November 1 Echo 1 Alpha 4 Oscar 2. 02 Mike 2 Zulu Bravo 2, sorted 1
Gate
heavy.
10. Oh my. 2. So we exited here. Where did we exit? Runway 11. We exited here at November 1. So we need to go through Echo 1 and Alpha 4. Alright. So Echo 1 is that one over there. Quite a tight turn, but we think we can do it. There's a lot Polish airline aircraft. So and now going through November 4, actually Alpha 4. So now Alpha 4, then O2. So this is Alpha 4. So I see why they're sending through here because of the wingspan. These are gates, by the way. Now let's go through O2, which should be that interception up ahead. So very fast. Okay, our APU is available. At this point on an A320 we would be performing a single engine taxi, but you can guess we cannot do that on a A340. Alright, so this is the right hand turn right here. There's enough room for us. There's a very cool 777X over there. So kind of looking into the future because that plane isn't flying yet. Alright, now let's take a left-hand turn via M2 to ZB2. There it is, the 777X. Alright, so we're gonna carry on this one till we reach ZB2, which is this one right here. So we are currently on M2, then turn right to ZB2. And then we should find gate 10. Let's get on that center line. So there it is. Z2 to the right. Alright, let's go for the maximum wingspan, which should be this one right here. This is not a small... There's another taxiway here, as you can see, but that's a small wingspan aircraft. Alright, so our gate should be to our right, somewhere over... Oh, I think we overshot. Yeah, that's the one. Oh my god. Stand by. There we go, there we go, there we go. Is assuming that beyond ATC, we can still make it. We can still make it. There's our gate. Don't try this at home, boys.
All aircraft be advised, information due Vietnam current, QNH 1033.
Let me confirm that's our gate. Yeah, that's it, that 10. So there's two VDGSs. One is for the 10 right, which is this one here. We're going to take the one in the left. Alright, see if it wakes up. First of all, let's see if GSX accepts. Yeah, it didn't accept. So what apron is this? It says apron 3, gate 10. There it is. Nope. Alsace. There we go. Now the BDGS woke up. Alright, there we go. Self test. Come on. A340 confirmed. There we go. Nice and smooth. There we are. Slow. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You can see me hitting the brakes here because this plane has a tendency to accelerate way too much. And nicely done. Slow down. More feet there, and there we go. Stop, set parking brake. It's a little offset, isn't it? Okay, nice. After landing checklist, no landing lights were set to off. These should have been turned off approaching the gate, my bad. Flaps are up, spoilers is retracted, weather radar, oh we're cooking people, my bad. Protective windshield TCAS set to off, standby. APU set and wing NTIs not required. We didn't have any ice forming here. Engine NTIs set off, APU bleed is on. And parking checklist now. Parking brake is set. Nav aids set to off. And we're gonna shut down our engines. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Flight directors 1 and 2 are off, as well as landing system and the ARC 10. Sorry, ARC 10, ARC 10, wind NTIs and wind or engine NTIs off, engine master switches set to off, fuel pumps to off. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, and done. 10. And external power is not on yet, but we'll ask for it. Chokes on, external power on. Connected, beacon off, seatbelt signs off,
Boarding requested.
external power is on, transponder off, and door open. Alright, so our VIP passengers are ready to depart. So now I can say it. Welcome to Warsaw.
Passengers, the boarding started.
Did I say? Did I hear this correctly? Did she say there's no passenger stairs available? Yeah, no wonder there's no stairs available. There's a jetway over here. I mean, Beyond ATC it's a gift that keeps on giving, I tell you. Not Beyond ATC, sorry, GSX. It's a gift that keeps on giving. So, apparently, I'm correctly parked. It's just that jetway doesn't reach the plane for some reason, and she says there's no jet bridge available, so we're kind of screwed, right? And if I do try to make it operate to the plane, nothing. Oh well. Just like all times, right? GSX always messes up stuff. So anyway, guys, this was our flight from Porto to Warsaw on our beautiful A340. So I'm now going to go in the back and relax a little bit, if you guys don't mind. So I'll be off to my bed here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Let me lie down here. Oh, this is the life. Right there on the pillow. Yeah. How about that? Guys, see you next time. Like I said, probably flying the MD-11 from... What am I doing? I got a bigger and better bed than this one. So the next flight will be taking the MD-11F from Poland here, from Warsaw. That's my bad. Here we go. Nice. Alright. So I'll be flying out of Warsaw in my MD-11F. Still thinking about where to go, but I'll probably go to Dubai. And I hope you guys enjoyed. The flight was quite pleasant. Landing and in Warsaw was quite good. No significant weather. Only GSX failed, but it's expected. This GSX has not been updated to support this particular airplane, so issues will be are expected. See you guys next time. Remember, leave a like, subscribe, share with your friends, and if you're willing, also consider donating via Buy Me a Coffee. The links are in the description, as well as pinned in the chat, and the QR code often shows up on your upper right screen. So this was the Inibuilds A340 VIP flight from Porto to Warsaw. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to take a little nap.
I love to fly up in the sky Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the